This happened back in 2019 to 2021 and it still sticks with me today. I'll be using fake names for myself and the man that I'm talking about. Mary for me and Dennis for him. When I was 13, I met someone in Discord. He was funny, smart, and exactly my type. He was also 16. I don't know my logic with that being okay at 13, but I was stupid and naive. And we became close friends. After about 3 months of knowing him, I told him that I had feelings for him. We then ended up dating. We lived across the country from each other and we were basically just friends, but whatever. So, as we're dating, he starts basically grooming me. As a kid who was always in the internet and was exposed to Kick also, I was used to this behavior and thought that it was fine. He had me send inappropriate photos, gross messages, and pretty much worship him. I wasn't allowed to talk to people on Discord without him there and stuff like that. He told me that he would kill himself if I ever left or how he was always on drugs because he was so sad. He was also really racist and thought that weird jokes were okay. I'm so mad at myself for not realizing that it wasn't okay back then. So he ends up cheating on me with his ex and tossed me out the door. He doesn't talk to me anymore and says that we shouldn't talk anymore because we aren't together. Here's where it gets bad. Note, this happened over 5 years ago and I have a spotty memory of this time. New accounts pop up in the server that we met on. It was a server of a bunch of mutual friends, and they started saying horrible things about me. Oh, Mary's a fat whale, and more things like that. The accounts have names like Jerry does bad stuff or Big Fat Whale, etc. I had gotten in trouble with the server owners because it was my fault that people were saying these things. Like I had told them to go spam things about me or something. The accounts also start messaging me to do bad things to myself, and just overall really negative things. I ended up blocking every account and moving on with my life. Great, it was over with. Or so I thought it was. Fast forward a year to late summer of 2019 and everything starts up again. The messages, him telling people lies and rumors and direct threats. I was sent a lot of bad things again and that I should do bad things to myself because nobody cares about me. At that time, I had undiagnosed depression and anxiety almost did make me end myself. I went to therapy and tried to get over it. In 2020, right when the quarantine happened, I got a boyfriend. I was super happy and I finally came out of my shell. He and I would play games together on Discord and I joined more servers. Around 2 months later, I got another message. Somebody had messaged me named Lily, I believe. It was a normal profile and we were in a server together, so I thought nothing of it. She then had messaged me how I was and how I never talked to her before, so I was confused. She said we had a long conversation about mental health the day before, so she wanted to make sure that I was alright. I asked who she was and what she was talking about, and she said something like, "Oh, you told me about this. You said that you take meds for schizophrenia and you must have missed a dose. Are you off your meds?" I was extremely confused and scared because I had never talked to this person, and certainly I didn't have schizophrenia. After about 10 minutes of the charade, I realized that it was Dennis. I blocked the account and didn't accept any new friend requests. The next day, I got hundreds of messages with the same content that I previously mentioned. A lot of threats, and I was terrified. So I asked my current boyfriend for help, and he told me to make a new account and to not friend any of the other mutual friends so he couldn't find me. I did, which cost an affiliated Twitch account that I had spent years building. I changed all my accounts, I deleted most and made new ones. But the messages found me again. I have no idea how these new accounts weren't tied to me. I got fed up and I had asked a mutual friend I thought that I could trust some personal information about Dennis to go to the police and get a possible restraining order or something. I didn't totally know how the police handled these issues. Months go by and nothing, until the fall of 2021, in which Dennis messages me again, a lot with the same stuff and how he always will find me. How I'm so dumb and that nobody loves me. So I isolated myself and deleted more accounts. I never was able to go to the police because I had no information like his full name or his address. It's been 2 years and every day I worry if he lives near me, if he knows where I live or go to school. I recently found out that he has a website and made YouTube videos. He has made YouTube videos referencing me in 2022. His copyright claim is something like Mary the Whale Incorporated, but I can't find it anymore, so I put the closest to what I remembered. It was horrible and I'm still worried every day that he will find me. I believe that he has a Reddit account and he could possibly find this. I hope we don't meet again, Dennis, and I wish you the worst. I work overnights at a 24-hour diner. You can probably guess what the company is. I'm used to weird people and odd things happening, but tonight was too much. The restaurant backs up to a field that has a tree line, and my cook and I went out back for a smoke. We could hear somebody yelling off in the distance, but we get a lot of homeless people that come through town that usually are harmless, so we shrugged it off as weird and we went back inside. Later, I came out again to smoke and throw away some trash in the dumpster that is next to the field. It was stupid to go over to it, but I hadn't heard him again. As I'm walking away from the dumpster, I hear, "Hey you, come here, hey, come over here." It was much closer than when we had heard him yelling the first time. I went inside and got my coworker who owns a car with a spotlight on it. We shined it out into the field, which again was not smart and we admit that, but we couldn't see where he was. But he kept saying, "Hey girl, come here." I called the cops by this point because it was just getting too weird. As soon as I get off the phone with them, he comes walking up out of the field. He was an older man wearing a tan trench coat, and my coworker and a customer with us ran back inside because this dude was straight up hauling butt across the parking lot. He started to come towards the door and I called the cops again. The cook cut him off and told him that he needed to go. The man was acting irrationally, yelling at my cook and said, "I'll end your life next time I see you." He kept moving his jacket by his waist like he was flashing a weapon, but I couldn't see anything from inside. The cops eventually show up and get him down the road, and an officer came by and basically said the guy is homeless and not mentally stable. Yeah, no kidding. We told them everything that happened and my cook pressed charges on him. The officer told us that there wasn't anything they could do, and he wouldn't give her his name, so they let him go. Basically, it ended with, "Oh, by the way, he's known to carry a knife in his waistband. Call us if you ever need us. See ya." So, he came back again, hauling butt across the neighboring parking lot and back into the field. We could hear him screaming and yelling, "Hey, come over here," again and again. We got busy when the bars closed and we hadn't heard him yelling since, but I know that he's still back there because I had caught him sleeping back behind the dumpster before. My manager comes in the morning and I'm going to try to get her to let me take a picture of him off the security tapes so that I can warn the other third shift workers. The field that he's camping out in also backs up to a middle school, but the cops said again that there was nothing that they could do. Hopefully he just moves on and leaves us alone, or the cops can get him on something where nobody gets hurt.